Hey everyone, happy Friday. It's Shannon Roberts here sharing my week 9 update. I almost didn't share because I felt like I fell back a little bit this past week. I've had some significant stressors again, and my body is certainly sensitive to stress and inflammation and water retention. So the scale was up by 2 pounds today. I'm not freaking out about it. It is what it is, and I know why the inflammation was induced. And so that's my update. I'm not going to get into the details of the numbers by way of body fat and muscle mass and all those things because I know that they're going to be off. But the fact that I'm sharing, I think is good because it's necessary. So that's really short and I'm only 1 minute in, but I did want to share a couple things. That was really gross, Ollie. Sorry about that. I did want to share a couple things today with regard to change, and there are 2 very important things that I believe are related to experiencing and living in change and experiencing a thriving life, and experiencing optimal health towards longevity. And the first thing that came to mind, so I took a spiritual wealth day today, which means I've just been resting in God's presence and just really sitting with the Holy Spirit, doing some research and just looking at some different papers that have been published from a scientific standpoint as I consider some other modalities that I'd like to incorporate for myself and for future clients. I was sitting in the sauna and just really allowing the Lord to minister to me. And then he began to speak to me about commitment and consistency. And so these 2 things are very, very important. Consistency is so important for us to define what it is that we know we need to do. So have a plan, have a strategy, have a protocol, whatever word you want to use, but you've come up with something for you and very specific for you and you believe is going to work for you. It resonates with you on a deep level and you can follow through. Then you have to actually put those plans, strategies, blueprints, however you want to coin it, into practice. It doesn't just happen by having the knowledge up here. It doesn't happen by having it written down. It has to be walked out. And we are the ones that have to maintain the commitment to follow through. So the word commitment means a state or quality of being dedicated to a cause, activity, or etc. An engagement or obligation that restricts freedom, action. So you are dedicated, you are faithful, you are devoted, you are going to follow through no matter what. Now, if you get sick or if your body's compromised and it really needs to allow the space for healing, that's something completely different. But when things come our way that we're probably designed to rise up and push forward and through on, we need to gain that resiliency. We need to establish and grow that resiliency in us and that resoluteness in us, which is the other R in Riverside. We have to have that established in us so we can be consistent. And I'm not talking consistent for 1 week or even 2 weeks, consistency over a period of time. I have been trying to become consistent for 18 weeks. My first video was, hey, I'm 18 weeks out. And now I'm already 9 weeks out. And it feels like I've only really been consistent 2 weeks. So I'm kind of doubling down right now. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be consistent from now through the end of the year. I can see different things that are coming up, trials and challenges and temptations for what they are, and it is to get me off of the consistent path. It's to get me from being faithful to what I know I'm called to do in this season and to press into the new, into the change, into the transformation that I believe is going to cause at least one person that I see continuously to be in awe. And I want that. I want whatever it is that you have right now. So maintaining that commitment. And that also means when we write down our plan for the day or the agenda for the day, we keep our commitment of getting into the word and prayer. We keep our commitment to exercise or walk out in the sunlight. We keep our commitment to get into the sauna and then go for a little bit of a walk afterwards. We keep our commitment to eat healthy. We keep our commitment to the tasks at hand. And I say that, and I don't even like that word just because of Taskmaster and all the things, but we do have different things we want to accomplish and achieve throughout the day, especially if we have a vocation or a job or ministry or family family, or, all of the above. We have to keep our commitments to that. And when we get online, not get distracted by the news feed, not get distracted by who's posting what, but make sure that our time is focused and that we are wholly devoted to the task at hand in that moment, and just stay focused. And then the other word that came to mind, so I kind of intertwine these, consistency and commitment. So being consistent, following through day after day, week after week, month after month, that is my passion and my goal for the next 9 weeks. And then remaining committed to the blueprint, to the plan, to the protocol that has been established for me by learning from people like Dr. Pompa and Dr. Andrew Huberman and so many others at this point, and just following through so I can live in and experience that optimal health towards longevity and just a thriving life. And it was so funny because Thrive was part of my devotion this morning, and I'm like, yes, yes, yes. So anyway, we have to be consistent and committed to experience change. And so I'm praying over you that whatever that looks like, that you are able to come up with a plan that resonates deeply for you, that you are committed to that, and the daily steps and the daily actions that it takes to walk that out on just one day at a time, and then establish consistency over multiple days strewn together, and then weeks strewn together, and then months strewn together. So then at the end, you get to see the result. Not only see the result, but you get to live the result, which I believe is vibrancy and energy and passion, and others seeing and being amazed by the transformation that has taken place in your life, and then you're positioned to speak into their lives and to help them and to perhaps bring freedom for others, because you chose to be consistent. You chose to be wholly devoted. You chose to be faithful. So that is my prayer for you today. Again, I am going to be putting something together that was just really powerful for me today in the sauna, and just that non-sleep deep rest. And the sauna time went by so fast because I was walking through this prayer and this activity. And so I think I'm going to put that to word, put that to music, and share that probably here, and then give a little sample over on my social media pages, and pray that it blesses others as well. I was so inspired by a client this week, a 74-year-old woman, and we're just walking through the pillars of health, and she's sharing with me life. She has a life well lived, and she still believes that there is more on the horizon for her, which is so inspirational to me because all of my grandparents passed away before the age of 70. So I'm sitting here and I'm like in amazement that this gal is just like looking for the future, wants to incorporate holistic health and sharing testimony of God's healing power in her life. And I was just so inspired by her. And she shared at one point, it's hard for me to rest. I feel like I'm always busy. And I said, it's okay to rest though, right? Because the ultimate commandment, the greatest commandments are love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. I really jumbled that together. Love others as you love yourself. The loving yourself and loving others, it's not necessarily linear. It can be parallel. We can do both at the same time and not neglect one or the other. And I shared on my Facebook page today that denying oneself is not equal to neglecting one's health. And that was a conversation that she and I continued to have in our time together yesterday. And the light bulb went on for her. She's like, you're right. And I'm like, wow, what an honor, to bring a tidbit of revelation to someone who might have struggled in the past with feeling that she has permission to take care of herself so she can continue on to live a wealthy life and a thriving life. So anyway, I just wanted to share that tidbit with you. And I was sharing with her about resting. That's where I was headed with that. And she's like, well, I don't do this and I don't do that. And perhaps for religious reasons or convictions, I don't know, but I was kind of thinking of her today while I was going through this non-sleep deep rest like prayer and activity in the sauna, and I'm like, okay, I could share this with her. And then it was like the Spirit was like, well, you could share it with others, because it was so powerful and it's scriptural based, but it also complements science. So look for that in the future. I'm not sure when I'm going to get it recorded, when it posted, but it was good. So take care, God bless, and we'll see what next week brings.